For so long, people have been taught that they need to work hard, be perfect, think positively all the time, and constantly stay on top of their thoughts in order to manifest the life they want. That kind of teaching has created more pressure than peace. It turns manifesting into a stressful job instead of the natural experience it's supposed to be. But what if all of that is completely backwards? What if the moment something is imagined in the mind, it's already done? Not something that will happen in the future, not something that needs to be forced or fought for, but something that already exists, here and now, within. Most people miss that because they think the outer world is the proof, that what they see in the 3D is the reality. But that's the lie. The truth is, the outer world is just the slow reflection of old belief. It's not the source of change. It's not where power lives. Real creation happens inside, and it happens instantly. If something can be imagined, if it can be seen clearly or affirmed in the mind, that's it, it's already a real thing. The only reason it doesn't show up right away is because the physical world has a delay. That delay is not a sign of failure. It's not a sign that something is wrong. It's just the way reality catches up. It's like placing an order online. You don't keep reordering the same thing, you just wait for it to arrive, knowing it's coming. That same certainty is needed here. Once it's imagined, once it's claimed, once it's accepted as truth in the inner world, there is absolutely nothing else that has to be done. And that's what shatters the old belief system. That's what ends the constant cycle of trying harder and chasing outcomes. Because the game isn't about forcing the outside to change. It's about realizing the outside already is changing. And the only job now is to stop doubting what's been created. The shift that makes all the difference is no longer asking, when will it happen? But instead saying, it already has. It's a quiet kind of power. It's a deep inner confidence. And once that settles in, the whole world begins to move in response. No more chasing, no more waiting, no more wondering if it's working. The imagination is the truth. The moment it's seen within, it's already done. The most misunderstood part of manifesting is the role imagination plays in the entire process. For most people, imagination is treated like a daydream, something nice to play with but not something that has any real power. But the truth is, imagination is the only place creation begins. It's the original canvas where everything is formed before it's visible in the outer world. When something is imagined, truly, clearly, and confidently, that thing is already real. It's not just a picture in the head or a nice fantasy. It's a living version of reality that exists in the unseen. And just because it can't be touched or proven yet doesn't make it any less real. In fact, the physical world is just a delayed reflection of what's already been assumed or accepted in the mind. That's why manifestation is never about effort, it's about alignment. It's about trusting that what exists in imagination is enough. Once something is clearly imagined, it's done. That's the seed. That's the foundation. That's the only place where real change ever begins. People often try to change things by manipulating the outside, by working harder, doing more, or trying to fix what they see. But if the imagination hasn't changed, nothing will stick. The outside might shift temporarily, but it will always return to match the inner assumptions. That's why it's so important to start within, to go into imagination and see the life that's already desired, to speak the words that match that reality, to walk mentally in the version of life that already has it. Because once that inner picture is strong and clear, the outer world has to follow. It's law. That's not just a spiritual idea, it's how consciousness works. The outer world doesn't lead, it follows. And when that's truly understood, the whole game changes. It no longer becomes about fixing the 3D. It becomes about feeding the imagination, strengthening the assumption, and choosing again and again to see what's real inside, even if the outside doesn't show it yet. That's the quiet power of imagination. It doesn't need to shout. It doesn't need to fight. It just needs to be claimed. The moment a desire is clearly imagined, reality begins to respond. A lot of people treat affirmations like a task they have to do perfectly in order for things to work. They believe that if they don't say it enough times, or if they don't feel something big when they say it, then it won't count. That mindset turns manifesting into pressure. But affirming was never meant to be a performance. It's not about asking for something to happen. It's not about convincing the universe. It's about remembering what's already been created within. When someone says an affirmation like, I have everything I need, they're not making a wish, they're stating a truth that already exists in the unseen. That truth might not be visible in the 3D yet, but that doesn't mean it's not real. The words spoken in the mind are not instructions being sent out, they're reminders. And that's the most important shift, from trying to create something to remembering it's already done. Visualizing works the same way. It's not about building something from scratch every time. It's about visiting the place that already exists. The inner world where the desire is already fulfilled. And it doesn't matter if it's felt deeply or just seen briefly. The depth of emotion is not what makes it work. The clarity of assumption is what matters. If the desire can be imagined clearly, then it's real. If it can be spoken with conviction, then it's active. And even if there are days where it doesn't feel easy, or days where it feels like nothing is happening, those moments don't cancel anything. What matters most is what is believed in the mind, not what is happening outside. So affirming becomes less about repetition and more about alignment. It's not about saying something 100 times. It's about meaning it when it's said. It's about choosing it again and again. Not out of fear that it won't work, but out of joy that it already has. Affirmations are just reminders. Gentle, calm reminders that say, yes, this is still mine. And visualizations are not requirements. They're just visits. Ways to tap into what's already done. And when that's how they're treated, they no longer feel like pressure. They feel like returning home. One of the biggest traps in the manifesting journey is using the 3D world as a scoreboard. It's so easy to look at what's around and start believing that if something isn't changing on the outside, then it must mean nothing is working on the inside. But that belief causes the most unnecessary doubt. Because the truth is, the 3D world is just a delayed mirror of previous thoughts, assumptions, and belief. It is not the creator, and it's definitely not the proof of what's currently real. It's just the shadow, the echo of what was once imagined or accepted as truth in the past. So when someone starts doing the inner work and doesn't immediately see movement in the outer world, that's not a sign of failure. That's just the old story still playing out. It's like watching the second half of a movie that was filmed weeks ago. The script has already been changed internally, but the screen hasn't caught up yet. That's how reality works. There's a delay, and that delay is normal. But that delay can create confusion if someone starts thinking the outer results mean more than the inner truth. The moment a desire is imagined clearly and confidently, it's already done. It's already planted in the field of reality. And just like planting a seed in soil, there might not be visible signs right away, but that doesn't mean nothing is happening. Underneath the surface, things are moving, shifting, aligning, and preparing to emerge. The worst thing someone can do is keep digging up the seed by doubting it. The best thing to do is keep watering it with trust. That means refusing to let the 3D world determine what is believed to be true. It means seeing the opposite in the physical world and still choosing to believe in what was created within. Because that's what manifesting actually is. Believing in the unseen until the seen catches up. The outer world cannot help but reflect the new inner reality. It always does. It just takes a little time. But when that time is filled with faith instead of fear, it passes faster and smoother. So whenever the outer world seems stuck, or worse, when it looks like things are going backwards, it's important to remember this: it doesn't matter. The 3D is not the truth. The inner assumption is. That's the only place that holds power. And that's the only place attention needs to go. If it's real in the mind, it will be real in the world. It's not a question of if, but when. And when the mind stops needing proof, that's usually when the proof finally shows up. One of the most powerful and healing truths in this entire process is knowing that there's no such thing as messing it up. No such thing as falling off the path. No such thing as being too late or doing it wrong. Because the way manifestation works isn't based on keeping score or being perfect. It's based on where the attention is right now. And right now is always enough. Even if the past few days, or weeks, or months were full of fear, doubt, or the complete opposite of the desired belief, that doesn't matter. Because the second there's a return to the assumption of what's truly wanted, everything realigns. That's how forgiving this process is. That's how powerful one single moment of clarity can be. It doesn't take weeks of clean thoughts or daily affirmations or perfect feelings. It takes one decision to come back to the truth. To say, yes, this is still mine, and mean it. That's what shifts everything. The mind might want to argue with that. It might say, but I reacted, or I gave up, or I said the complete opposite yesterday. And all of that might be true, but it's also completely irrelevant. Because manifesting isn't about never reacting or never feeling low. It's about always having the choice to come back. And the moment that choice is made, the whole system responds. The assumption gets reactivated. The energy shifts again. The inner alignment takes hold, and the path continues forward. It doesn't start over. It continues. That's the magic of it. And it's the reason no one ever needs to panic about having a bad day or slipping into old thoughts. It's okay. That doesn't break anything. It just means it's time to gently return. There's no punishment, no reset button, no failure, just a steady invitation to choose again. And it only takes one thought, one assumption, one clear moment of inner knowing. And from there, the whole thing is back on track. That's why this process gets easier over time. Because the more it's practiced, the quicker the return becomes. The easier it is to say, it's still done, even when things look off. The stronger the inner conviction gets, the less the 3D can shake it. And even when it does, it's never too late to come back. That's what matters most. Not how long someone stays aligned, but how quickly they choose to return. Manifestation is never lost. It's never canceled. It's just waiting for the moment the mind remembers. And that moment is always now. So if nothing else sticks, let this truth stay with you. Your imagination is not just a place you visit, it's the place where everything begins. You don't have to force it, fix yourself, or wait for the world to give you permission. It's already yours the moment you decide it is. Keep choosing the version of you who already has it. And the 3D won't have a choice, it'll catch up. If this reminded you of something you already knew deep down, or if it helped you drop some old pressure, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear how this landed for you. And if you're ready to stop chasing and start trusting what's already done, just say, it's already mine.